What is up, ladies and gentlemen? You're watching another Madman film breakdown right here on the Madman Sports Network. Today we're talking about Tremaine Edmunds, the 19-year-old stud inside linebacker from Virginia Tech. You heard that right. He's 19. He's not even 20 years old yet. Will be by the time he starts his rookie season in the NFL. Being touted as a top 16 pick, and there are reasons why. And one of the first few things I'll look at for a linebacker, it's really simple, but we'll get right to it. Can you tackle, specifically in the open field? I know it's kind of simple, it's not very complex or anything like that, but if you can't tackle, then you're probably not worth taking very early. And Edmunds absolutely can do that, and here's just a few examples right here. Here's the first one. Kelly Bryant right here tries to escape. Notice all this separation between the two of them as he tries to go for the first down. Edmunds does a really good job closing in and stopping him right at the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard shy, prevents Bryant from picking up that first down. Has really good closing speed, wraps him up really well. I know it's a quarterback, not a running back, but he's still a mobile, athletic quarterback. And even with all this space here, he managed to close right in there, drives him back. Very nice stuff. Here's another one right here. Again, it's a quarterback. This time, he gets him. Quarterback does a good job kind of escaping, but Edmunds doesn't let go, doesn't fall off, ends up just tracking and driving him down anyway. Again, leads to just a very minimal gain. Gets him and manages to recover well. He does a good job of that. Just recovering, even if he didn't get that initial grab. He has really long, strong arms, strong hands. Does a good job of maintaining contact, even if, the offensive player maybe makes him whip it first. And here's the last one right here. Pause. You have this running back going full speed ahead at Edmunds right here. What happens? Edmunds drives right into him and stops him for a nice, easy gain. I know these plays aren't anything crazy. I'm not going very in-depth or anything like that. But, again, I figured before we get to some of the more, interesting aspects of Edmunds' game, I would prove to you that, yes, if he's in the open field one-on-one with a good athlete, and he's the only line of defense left, there's a good chance he has the technique and the strength and the closing speed to make the stop, and that's what you want. One of the many things you want your inside backer, or potentially even in a 4-3. He can line up outside as well as an outside backer in a 4-3 type of defense. That's what you want. Just good closing speed and the ability just to wrap up. Doesn't try and arm tackle, just brings him down. Very good stuff. So those were more of just some open field one-on-one situations. But let's talk about Edmunds' ability, to locate gaps, find runners, and make big run stuffs in, whether crucial situations or simple situations like this. 2nd and 10 in the middle of the first quarter. Not the middle, near the end of the first quarter. Still a 0-0 game. But we'll just watch a few examples right here. So here's one. You'll notice here he is all the way on the other side of the field as this running back is coming. He has the speed and the play recognition ability on this play, at least, to come in, gets around everybody else, gets away from all these linemen, and comes in and closes in. Doesn't get the perfect angle necessarily, but still manages to wrap around, gets there a little late, but wraps around, holds on to him, and has the strength to drive him down. Even when he's on the other side of the field again, even when he's kind of getting attacked a little bit by this lineman, he manages to regain his balance very quickly, find the runner, find a way to get through all this traffic, and gets in there to make that stop. Very impressive play right there. There's another one right here, ball snap. You'll see him kind of in here right now getting messed with this lineman right here. You can barely tell with all these other linemen around as well. But notice the way he kind of pushes off right there, rebuilds his footing, and jumps right in to make a stop along with a few of his other teammates. Even if they weren't there, he does a good job of creating that space, giving himself just an inch of space to be able to break in with this running back right here, and dives right in there. Always goes right in there with his shoulder, with his, and wraps him up good. Uses his lower body well. That's just a nice play. Good job of not, just going head-to-head with his lineman and trying to just continue to fight with him, but breaking away at the perfect time and coming in to make the stop. There's another one right here. Here he is, and again, kind of fighting with the lineman, but uses his hands, does a good job of reading where the running back's going to go, just kind of pushes away from this lineman before he even knows what's going on. Other lineman on the ground, and again manages to give himself a little bit of space, kind of jumps back a little bit, gives himself a little bit of space so that he can go right in here, and not just, again, it's not just that he's making these stops, it's that he gets down there, uses his leverage, gets good leverage on the tackle, doesn't allow the runner to pick up any more yards. That's kind of what I really noticed about this, is that he's able to break away and give himself some time to rebuild momentum so that he can come in. And again, obviously he has some help here as well, but even if he didn't, I really like that not only is he tackling and bringing these runners down, but in a lot of them he's driving them backwards and not allowing them to pick up more yards. This is a very impressive one right here. You kind of saw that little, effect right there to show where he is. Here's the play. You'll see He gets attacked by number 55 right there. Runner is about to have an open lane right to the end zone. He's got some help right here. 25 kind of whiffs. Edmunds comes in, stops him right at the goal line, and again, drives him back. Does not let this runner drive him back into the end zone to pick it up. Even a second ago, as he was getting kind of, one-on-one matchup against a much bigger lineman, he manages to break away and get right in there. That's a very impressive play right there. And he ends up preventing a touchdown for at least one more play. I think Clemson might have ended up scoring on this drive. I don't remember. I'm sure they got at least a field goal. Not really important when looking at that play on its own. Here's the last one right here. You'll see already Lyman has him. Not a very good angle either. Lyman has a great chance to just kind of drive him into the ground. And instead, Edmunds regains his balance right away, finds the runner. Again, kind of comes in and is that second line of defense right there. Obviously, this first defender right here managed to kind of get that first grip on him. But Edmunds still manages, to regain his balance and gets ready to be that backup if he needs to be. On this play, he really doesn't. Runner would have been down either way. But it's still nice to see that he doesn't give up on the play. And even when the lineman has good leverage on him, has him on the side, really could have driven him to the ground, Edmunds has that body strength and just the awareness as well to get back up and come in and make the stop. Now, personally, when looking at inside linebacker, the main things I'm looking for are play recognition ability, zone coverage, can they line up in the zone, and are they able to, be a run stopper, are they able to recognize gaps in the running game. And then I kind of look for those other things. Are they an effective pass rusher? Are they good at man coverage? Those things that are, important. If you ask me, kind of secondary to the main job that you expect from them. And Edmunds, especially being so young, because he's such a rare athlete, he's already pretty good at doing those other secondary things, like rushing the passer and lining up in man coverage against tight ends and wide receivers. He's just that good. So here's a few examples of just different ways that he was able to rush the passer, and then I also included just a nice little piece of coverage there. It's nothing crazy. He's not going to line up, with Antonio Brown and run stride for stride from 50 yards down the field. That would be absurd to expect from most corners, let alone a linebacker who's 19 years old. But still. So here's the first one right here. Ball snap. There's Edmunds right here. Notice the way he just it was a six-man rush, it looks like, so everyone here rushes the passer. Notice the way he just slips through, finds the gap, and gets his hand up. Ball was thrown, so he doesn't really get there in time. Bryant noticed a one-on-one matchup before he could get there. But another second he would have gotten there. He still managed to locate those gaps, avoid getting, messed with by the lineman, gets his hand up, and affects this throw at least a little bit. Now, this wide receiver, I believe, ends up making a ridiculous catch. That might be Deion Kane. Not entirely sure. Potential draft pick right there. Good coverage as well. Doesn't really matter, though. I'm more impressed with Edmunds' ability just to get around, avoid all of this, nonsense right here, and just find that wide open gap and get in there. So here's another one right here. Here's Edmunds lined up on the outside. This is going to be a trick play where they pitch it to the wide receiver, and then he's going to try and toss it back to Rozier here, the quarterback. And Edmunds is so fast that he recognizes it, and he gets there along with this other lineman very quickly, manages to get his hands up, just misses batting the ball down. Now, the quarterback ends up dropping it anyway. Even if he caught it, that would have been very bad news. Now, yes, of course, this defender right here is really the hero on this play, but that doesn't change the fact that it was still pretty impressive that Edmunds was able to get there so quickly, get his hands up. That's just good athleticism right there, good burst, good quickness, good acceleration, all those things where if he does have an open path to the quarterback, he'll be able to get there quickly. Here's another one right here. This is again where he kind of finds the gap. Lyman recognizes it about a half second too late, gets his hands on it, but Edmunds is so fast and strong that he's still able to get right by, gets his hand up again, still doesn't get there quite in time, but is able to again throw off this pass. Now again, I think that was caught, yes it was, by this open receiver. That's more because of bad coverage, that's not because of Edmunds. But even when a lineman does manage to engage with him a little bit, he still manages to get by because he's just so athletic and so quick. And again, keep in mind, I know this isn't fantastic pass rushing moves or anything like that. He's not displaying world-class hand strength or anything like that. He's a 19-year-old linebacker, not a, polished 21-year-old edge rusher even. So, of course it's not going to be perfect. I'm showing this, you got to contextualize this information sometimes. So, for someone whose job isn't necessarily to rush the passer on a regular basis, he's doing a very nice job. Here's another one right here. He's lined up as an edge rusher on this play. And he does a pretty good job, even though he's getting help, of just creating some inside leverage, getting in there quickly. And number 6 now had a wide open lane to the quarterback, so he's really the one that caused the pressure there. But still, Edmunds does a good job of it. It's not perfect. I don't even know if he would have gotten there if the quarterback would have either been able to step him in the pocket, avoid it, But Edmunds, for not being an edge rusher, again, not being a polished edge rusher, that's pretty good. And it shows that he has the ability to be more of a versatile player, give him some more reps, and maybe he will be able to line up as an edge rusher at the NFL level a few years from now. Here's this last one right here. Edmunds is lined up one-on-one man coverage against this pretty big receiver or tight end. Not sure which one it is, honestly. And notice, ball is thrown. Edmunds already starts to make a break, and because he's so fast and athletic, he gets right up in there, breaks it up. Nothing crazy, wasn't anything special, ridiculous, anything like that. Not like he covered him 20 yards down the field. And there wasn't many other coverage plays I could show you just because he did a really good job of just finding running backs or receivers who ran little flat routes, little, very short routes. And he did a good job of finding them quickly and keeping up with them because he's so fast. But he didn't really get targeted very often, so I couldn't show many other plays of his ball skills or anything like that. This was really the only one I could find in the film I watched, but I only watched 2 games. I figured that was enough to kind of be able to show you what you need to see. Still pretty impressive, and he has the athleticism to where if he does need to line up with slot receivers or tight ends, he's fast enough to keep up with those slot receivers, at least on the short routes, and he's big and strong enough to match up with most tight ends at the NFL level. Now, the fact that Edmunds is only 19 and he's still this talented is pretty ridiculous. That doesn't change the fact that he is 19 and that he's a young player. And because of that, he does tend to have some mental lapses on the field, and I'm sure that will improve over time. Unfortunately, I don't know that for a fact, and if it doesn't, then he will struggle at the NFL level, and that's a real problem because, again, like I said earlier, the most important, if you ask me, obviously you have to be big, you have to be able to tackle, but really the most important thing that separates, the really good, the elite inside, and even just, again, guys like Levante Davis, so the outside linebackers in a 4-3 or inside linebackers in a 3-4, what really separates them is their ability to recognize plays and keep their eye on the ball no matter what's going on. And unfortunately, Edmunds did have a few mental lapses. We'll talk about them here. And this is not me trying to trash him. Again, he's young. He's younger than me. That's what's crazy to think about, is that he's going to the NFL. He's about to make millions of dollars. But to show that when you're this young, everyone's really hyping him up, and you still have to acknowledge the fact that he still has a lot to learn about the game. So here's one play right here. You'll notice it's a man coverage. You'll see everyone's lined up one-on-one right here. So some one-on-one matchups right here. And number 3 right here is going to be responsible for this wide receiver. Here's Edmunds right here. And here's a running back. Here's the running back that's going to run out, kind of run like a wheel route out here. Edmunds was responsible for this running back. He decides to chase this wide receiver instead. Excuse me. And because of that, there's a breakdown in coverage, and the wide receiver ends up being wide open. Now again, you look at the beginning, you see Edmunds lined up right here, wide receiver lined up right here. He doesn't rush. This is not a zone coverage. You can tell with everybody else being lined up. And even if that's not, necessarily I don't know why he's choosing to cover this receiver when this running back here is wide open and there's no one out here. If this was like a cover 2 zone or something, then I can understand maybe Edmunds is lined up, supposed to be underneath. But there's nobody here, which means this really was Edmunds' responsibility. He completely ignored it, and the running back has wide open space, and that leads to a touchdown. That's really all on him. Here's Edmunds right here. Ball is snapped, handed off to the running back. Quarterback fakes like it was a read option that he keeps the ball, and Edmunds bites just for a split second, and that's just enough where it's too late now, has a bad angle, and he's not able to get there. Now again, this one's probably the least egregious of the 4 I showed, but if he had maybe stayed back just a little bit, and he had seen the ball get handed off sooner, he could have cut around and maybe made a stop. Instead, it ends up being a huge gain. Not a huge gain, actually. Running back still got stopped a few yards shy. I'm thinking of a different play. Here's another one right here. First of all, let me not discredit this ridiculous athleticism. Look at where Edmunds is and where everyone else is. He just got around there so quickly. Goes for the running back. Quarterback has the ball. By the time he notices, quarterback's already thrown the ball. Now, if he had not been on this play action, if he had kept his eye on the ball, he could have gotten right in there, either really forced an off throw, or had a sack there, and instead, he bites on it, and he just doesn't notice what's going on there. And here's one more right here. Ball is snapped again, handed off to the running back, but Edmunds goes right for the quarterback instead. By the time he realizes it, this running back has a nice big lane, breaks open for a huge gain, might even end up scoring on this play. I don't quite remember, honestly. Looks like he does. But you see where Edmunds is lined up here. If he had just waited another second, maybe been a little more patient with it, he could have clogged up this gap right here, and the running back would have maybe been stopped for a loss or stopped for only a 1 or 2 yard gain. That was really... I'm not going to blame Edmunds on that play. There's obviously a lot of other people whose fault it was on that play. But if he had better awareness and had just been a little more patient and recognized where the ball was, he could have made a huge stop on that play. Maybe this game would have turned out a little different. Again, I'm not trying to knock him, by the way. He's young. This is very improvable. If he was a 22-year-old or a 21-year-old senior, maybe I'd be a little more concerned, but he's not. He's 19. He's so young, and that's why he's being so highly touted, because you still look at all these other abilities he has, and those overweigh some of these inconsistent mental lapses that he has. Now, as I showed you earlier, overall, Edmunds is a good tackler, and I think he will be a good tackler at the NFL level. But that doesn't change the fact that every now and then there were some inconsistencies where he either just took some bad angles or just had some mental lapses, again, that as I'll say, that resulted in some plays that could have been bigger losses if he had been a little more focused. So again, it's fine. He's young. He's very young. It can be improved upon. I'm really just nitpicking here because he's just been so hyped, and I'm sure all you've heard are good things about him. And so I just had to be here to say he does have some holes in his game that need to be worked on and that are not necessarily super easy to teach. I mean, play recognition, that isn't the easiest thing to learn. I've said that about some other players, and maybe if he was, just an edge rusher, a pass rusher, and he was this talented, I'd be like, whatever, it doesn't really matter, as long as he can go in and rush the passer on a regular basis. But when you're supposed to be the captain of the defense, you really need to be on the tip of your feet every single play, and that's why I'm being so nitpicky, because of the position he plays. So here's a few examples right here. Here's one. Ball is snapped. He does a good job right here. He has, let's just go back another second. He has Bryant one-on-one. Excuse me. He has him one-on-one right here. Against the quarterback, you should be able to make this tackle. He's made it before. Look at this. He has a really good angle. Doesn't really dive for him. Just kind of completely whiffs. I'm not sure what happened there, but Bryant ends up managing to go forward, nearly picking up the first down. I still think he missed it, but they end up going for it on 4th and 1, I believe. Don't remember exactly. I'm just going based on what I think I remember. I'm not here to give you a history of Virginia Tech versus Clemson, but if he had made that stop back there, they wouldn't even have to worry about how close he was to the first down marker, and he just kind of whiffs on that one. I'm not sure why or what happened there. Here's another one right here. You'll see he does a good job. He gets in coverage here. Ball has already left the quarterback's hands, and you see where he is and where the running back is. He should be able to make this stop right behind the line of scrimmage. For some reason, instead he jumps up, and suddenly there's a lot of separation between him and the running back. He's all the way over here now, and the running back ends up making a pretty big gain. Again, I understand at real-time speed, I'm sure that's really tough, but right here, the ball's about to leave the quarterback's hands, and he hasn't made his jump yet. I'm not sure why he chose to jump up instead of just staying on his man, because there's no indication. It'd be one thing if the quarterback was directed to the other side of the field and it was very obvious he was throwing to one of these targets, then maybe Edmunds is just trying to jump and make some sort of superhero-like play. He's facing this way, which means he's obviously throwing to one of these defenders, or one of these receivers, and Edmunds should just stay glued to his man, and instead he over-pursues it, and that leads to a pretty big gain by the running back. Again, for now it's fine, but if he keeps making plays like this, that could lead to some big plays being given up at the NFL level. Here's one more. This one's probably the least egregious of the three, honestly. But he does a really good job getting outside again. And it's right here specifically where he has all this open field where he could really kind of just cut up and try and get a good angle, and instead he kind of goes around, and now he's behind the running back. I know it's nothing crazy, and again, I know I'm being nitpicky. It's so tough. This is the difference, though, between a first and a second round prospect, especially at a position like this, where you need to be just so perfect when you're trying to be the leader of your defense here. So, again, it's not horrible, but if he had just maybe cut up a little sooner and been able to stop this running back, it could have been a nice stop, and instead he gets behind him. Still only about a 5-yard gain. Does a good job of at least chasing him quickly. Does a good job of getting there, but he could have had a bigger stop there if he had just started to change his direction just a half second earlier. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you for tolerating me with this sore throat and the coughing that I was doing as I was trying to record this. I know it's not very professional. I apologize for that. But anyway, thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it. I have a second-round grade on Edmunds. I know that's a little unpopular. Most people have a first-round grade on him. But for me to put a first-round grade on any player, I need to just know. I need to basically know, barring some sort of injury, that they are going to be an effective player at the NFL level. And a second-round grade, sometimes I think second-rounders could end up being better than first-rounders, but there's a reason they're second-rounders, is because they still have some holes that may or may not be fixable. The awareness and the ball play recognition for Edmunds, he might never be able to fix that. I'm sure he will. He seems, if you're able to start for one of the best defenses in the nation at this age, you obviously have to be smart. You obviously have to have the ability to recognize certain things and learn. And I'm sure as he gets more reps, at the NFL level especially, I'll end up regretting putting a second-round grade on him. but that's just how I am. There's a few other linebackers in this class that I think, and I need to get a deeper dive on them, but that I think are better at just recognizing plays sooner, are a little more NFL ready, and that's why I have him with a second round grade. Still think he has the chance to be a superstar at the NFL level. He's so versatile, so athletic, really rare athlete, someone that you'll really be able to line up in multiple areas on the field, and if he does end up working even more on that pass rushing ability, he could end up being an absolute superstar. Don't get me wrong. Thanks, guys, again. Follow us on Twitter at TheMadmanSports. Follow me on Twitter at VSUL21, and hit that big red subscribe button. Not sure who we're doing next. I'm thinking Christian Kirk, but I'm not 100% set on that. Should have some more videos for you sometime next week. Thanks again.